Happy 303 day. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Pregame Show, live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. We've got Bailey and Rudo coming to you as the Avs are still in California. The SEGABABA against the Anaheim Ducks after the win against LA last night. Why not another late start? It's just the way things go. Realistic expectations coming into this one, Bailey. Can the Avs win? Should they win? Will they win?
All very different questions. Yeah. Can they? Yes. Should they? Maybe. Will they? To be determined. I don't know. I think we're looking at another gritty game here. Unfortunately, that's just how these types of games go.
Yep.
Especially given the turn of events in LA, maybe not how they wanted that game to go when they have at least some of their legs. Having some more legs for this one would definitely help their case, but...
Would have been nice.
Yeah, no. I would not be surprised if we go into this one and see them a little spent.
Yeah, I think that's a reality that's going to set in. Not just a back-to-back, but the seventh game or the fifth game in 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Look, at a certain point, your legs just don't go anymore.
Yeah. like there's a brutal stretch of hockey, and then there's this too. Like there's only so much the body can take, and like I get being a professional athlete, you're supposed to be prepared and ready for situations like this. This is just a lot.
Yeah, I mean, look. Their legs would do far better than mine in that situation. But when they're going up against the Anaheim Ducks team who did not play yesterday,
right?
That's tough.
That's what I think is going to kind of mess with their heads a little bit too. Not just again messing with their heads, but you look at the more rested team. Maybe not going to skate circles around the Avs, but you've got 2 rested guys on this roster, maybe. In a Jason Poland and a maybe Scott
one of those
Wedgwood,
dudes about to play 5 minutes in this game.
Yeah, so. I'll be surprised if he gets above 5. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. We can jump off of that, check in on the Common Spirit injury report, where there is no good news to be had here. Obviously, LOC still out. Kiviranta still day-to-day with his concussion. Lehkonen officially announced as upper body week to week, so not expected back anytime soon. What does week to week mean? Your guess is as good as mine. Does that mean he'll be ready for the playoffs? Maybe, maybe not. I really don't know. But either way, the Avs are going to have to at least be without Lehkonen for probably most, if not all, of March.
Yeah.
So.
Makes you wonder, again, what those trade deadline situations could look like, too. If he's week to week, I mean... That's why hockey injuries are so interesting to me, too, because that could mean we see him in 2 weeks or we see him in 2 months or whatever it might possibly be.
Yeah.
So it really kind of changes the tide for the Avs here heading into Friday. Wishing him all the best. Hopefully it is sooner rather than later, but knowing the injury luck on this team, I'm not keeping my hopes high.
It always seems to keep happening to them, but lucky someone they're going to have to absorb. You're going to have to figure out that second line a little bit, whether it's Colton or Olofsson or whoever's taking the minutes there. We'll get into that a little bit more, but experience the difference compassion makes. Find a Common Spirit location near you and discover a new standard of health and healing by visiting mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health, the official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. Getting into the Avs that actually are playing in this game, we've seen some positives come through. Devon Taves finally gets a goal on the board. Gavin Brindley scored the game winner the game before that. He finally breaks his struggling offensive streak. But you look at the Avs lineup, and you still have someone like Zakar Bardakov, who now with the injuries the Avs will be in the lineup every night if he doesn't get traded. Has scored 1 goal this season in 45 games. That's tough.
Yeah, Zakar Bardakov's an interesting thing for me too, because the organization put so much stock into this guy heading into the regular season, and for him to do what he has done, which is virtually nothing. And I don't say that as like a dramatic thing like that. This is a guy who's playing maybe 5 minutes a night, maybe.
Definitely a part of the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
So like that's what meaningfully has he been able to contribute to this lineup? And Bednar's been very vocal about, okay, if you're in the lineup, you have to do well with the minutes that you're given. And even if, you know, your bottom guys aren't really breaking 5-7 minutes a night, like you're still expecting meaningful hockey out of them. And there's maybe a few games this season where I've really liked Bardakov, but a few games in a season doesn't really get the job done for me.
It's tough when you're not producing, you have a penchant for bad penalties, and your defensive zone play is, well, not bad, not a standout in your game. So how does he earn more minutes? I genuinely don't know. If you're not doing one of those 3 things, I don't know how Bednar can give you more time on the ice. So
the answer is he won't. That without a little more development, which I think Bardakov could absolutely benefit from.
For sure. But the Avs are not the team that's going to give him that.
No. And that's what makes this even more interesting too, when you talk about trade deadline and possible pieces moved. I genuinely think he'd be a great fit on an NHL roster, just not this one. Give him the chance to develop in an organization that is, you know, notorious for developing players. The Avs organization, while the Eagles have amazing, like incredible success in the AHL, it's how many players recently have we really seen break out from that team?
I mean, you go back a decade of how many AHLers, especially on the forward side, have the Avs really turned into NHL talent.
Yeah.
And there's a few, Logan O'Connor, but maybe not nearly as many as you would like there. I do want to talk about some other guys who haven't scored in a while, and I think there's interesting conversations here. Because Sam Malinsky has not scored in 28 games, but no one is going to sit here and tell you that Sam Malinsky has played poor offensive hockey in that stretch.
No. Yeah, that conversation left at the door.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously being very effective, but I do find it interesting, especially now that you've kind of scratched Taves' name off that list. Is he the next guy to get one to actually go in the net?
I don't know if there's a asterisk next to Taves' name. I don't know if it's been scratched off per se.
Well, he's not on the it's been 40 games or whatever list.
This is true. This is true. I wonder how much we can expect Malinsky's game to change depending on how many minutes he's playing with a guy like Brett Kulak.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's kind of the interesting thing for me to watch. Yes, obviously, I want him to get back on the score sheet, and I don't think it's a far cry to say it's not. It's going to happen by the end of the season. That's the player that Sam Malinsky has proven himself to be this season. But with as much fluidity as Bednar's maybe expecting in the pairings by the end of the season, how much time is he going to get next to a Brett Kulak? How much time is because he's mentioned before too, like he's had a million different D partners this season. He's been moved around a lot, but if he can get a little bit of stability next to a guy like Brett Kulak, I think that does wonders for finding a balance and being able to allow his offensive game to prosper just a little bit more.
Yeah, Again, if Sam Malinsky doesn't put that many goals in the net, I'm not worried about it.
No.
That's not really his game. He's being the assist setup man on the blue line for the Avs, and that's worked quite well.
Yeah.
So there's that one, and then you look at the forward side, and I want to talk about Jack Drury and Val Nichushkin. We've kind of harped on Val Nichushkin the last couple of games, still completely stands. He has 1 goal in his last 20 games. It's just not enough.
Not for a top 6 forward.
Right.
Not the standard at all for a guy like him.
Yep. And yeah, his production hasn't been horrible this year. He is finding his way to secondary assists and points here and there, but especially with Arturi Lehkonen missing significant time, Nichushkin is the number one guy that has to step up, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you're talking about bridging that gap, that's the first name that comes to mind. Second one, I mean, Jack Drury is probably a name on there that you want to see a little bit of depth scoring from if you're losing a guy like Arturi Lehkonen. Ross Colton's another guy, too, that maybe needs to step that up a little bit if you're looking at shuffling around these lines a little bit. But Val Nichushkin and Ross Colton, I don't put on the same tier together. So if you're looking at the better guy, who ideally
it's Nichushkin.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely Nichushkin, and that standard of play just has not been met. And he's a great goal scorer. I mean, had a conversation about goal scorers earlier this season, and while he maybe doesn't fall on that same list as some of the other guys, not to take away from I mean, he has an incredible ability to push his way into the offensive zone and shoot pucks. Haven't seen that recently. That needs to be better.
The Avs are going to need it right now from him. That full stop. In Drury's case, it's just been a little bit slow, I think, since the new year for him. Not that he's already tied his career high in goals. I don't know what you can realistically expect that more from him, but you would love to see him catch a little bit of a hot streak, challenge his career high in points, really prove that while he might not be the 3C of the future, he's one of the best 4Cs in the NHL. We already know the defense is there, but can the offense get there too?
The one thing I will say for Jack Drury is, as you mentioned, already hitting some career highs here. It's not for lack of trying, too.
For sure.
We talk about the production side of things, and yes, while we'd like to see more out of a Jack Drury who's trying to make a push for 3C, already has established himself as an elite 4C. He's been creating opportunities for himself. We've seen that in the last 4 games. I think that's been impressive to me.
Well, and this is the conversation with Ross Colton too. Creating a million chances is great, but eventually they got to go in, right? So
it's about making them, finding some of those high quality opportunities. I think is where they struggle, and especially from Jack Drury's perspective, coming from a high shot volume team, that's not, that's expected of a guy like him. So that's the next gear that these guys have to find, is just that high danger kind of aspect to that shot. Because you can throw a million shots at the net, and if they all go to the goalie's chest, like that's not going to do the job at the end of the day. So,
real hard to score in this area of the goalie, for sure.
So I don't know. Jack Drury is an interesting conversation for me too, because I love that he's hit those career highs, but that goal scoring is just really not who he's been. For his career too. So I think that's I think still a valid argument to be had here, is if you're looking for that goal scoring to come, or for Jack Drury to be that production difference maker, you're asking the wrong things from the wrong player.
And that's why the Avs are looking for a 3C.
There you go.
It is a SEGABABA tonight. The last 2 games, we've seen the Avs really dominate possession, outshooting LA was 39 to 20 something. Chicago, I think it was 35 to 15.
Yeah.
The reality of not having those legs, which side of that are you sacrificing? Are you expecting the Avs to maybe struggle to generate as much offense, or are you expecting the Avs to struggle to suppress Anaheim as much as these last couple of games?
I almost lean toward the suppression just a little bit, because you've got enough talent up top to create a lot of those zone transitions and, get into the offensive zone. Not really something they've struggled with over the last 4 games.
Not at all.
But On the other side of that too, it's that back check that you then have to worry about. If you're creating those zone entries,
Hard on the legs, yep.
Those legs are going to give out somewhere, and if you can create a lot of those opportunities, cool. But it's going to be hard to get back and stop a lot of them going the other way too. And talk about a team that can make you pay for it. Looking at Cutter Gauthier
sure.
and that entire top line is nasty. So if that back check ends up being slow, I have no doubt that Scott Wedgwood can suppress a lot of that on his own, but he's going to need help, and I don't know how much of that he's going to get tonight. I feel a little
might be
less
on
confident.
an island.
Right.
Might be on an island
Right.
back there.
So if you're talking about where my confidence lies, it's on the back end for sure.
All right. I'm good with that. We'll see. You never know. Late game, second game of back-to-back. Maybe the Avs have to outscore their problems. Maybe they
This
they
is not
don't.
the game you want to put all that confidence on, though.
Probably not.
Not the game for it.
We can check the team cards here. The Avs one is identical to last game. Nothing has changed there. They're still very, very good. And then you flip over to Anaheim's side, and is Anaheim even a good hockey team? And I'm being a little bit hyperbolic here, but they're technically first in points percentage in the Pacific. They're behind Vegas because they have games in hand, so they don't have as many actual points. But you look at their underlying numbers, and it's not very good. Like, it's a team that is very young, and they play like they're very young.
Yeah, that's their biggest issue, which is their biggest concern heading into the postseason. Looking at a team that, as far as the Pacific is concerned, has a lot more experience.
Yep.
In that kind of play. And so it's, while they might be, a decent regular season team, they're finding a lot of success in a lot of areas. I mean, looking at the standings specifically, I mean, it's being 13th in a gauntlet of a Western Conference is, impressive in and of itself. And so being able to do that, I mean, they're on the up. Right? Like this is a team that's really starting to make more of a push. They could do with some more veteran presence. Not a team because right now I feel like everybody's in trade deadline mode and playoff mode and things like that. And when I think of this team, I don't think of, obviously a dangerous regular season team. They can do some damage. But as far as, when it matters goes, I'm not super terrified.
I mean, you just look at that goals against.
Yeah.
One of the worst teams in the NHL for giving up goals. Outscoring your problems, absolutely something you can do in the regular season. Outscoring your problems in the playoffs, you basically need Connor McDavid level ability to outscore your playoff problems. And even that gets you close, but not all the way home.
What really interests me about the Ducks, too, is the back end, in the crease. Because neither of their goaltenders have a save percentage above 900.
Not great, Bob.
No, not at all. And looking at how highly touted and some of the good games that Lucas Dostal has had this season too,
Whenever he plays the Avs, he seems to be great.
That's the trend here this season. I don't appreciate it. It's but I don't know. Like, looking at the success that Anaheim has had this year, looking at where they sit in the standings, I don't know. That's just an interesting little tidbit to me.
Yeah, it's how much of this is adjusting to a Joel Quenneville system, and look, Quenneville has always been a great coach at getting the most out of teams that he possibly can. But then you're also looking at a team like Anaheim, who they're trying to find themselves on the defensive side. You know, so allegedly they're looking to move on from Pavel Mintyukov. There's some other guys that have flexed in and out of that lineup defensively that I don't know that they really have an identity when it comes to that side of the puck. Offensive side, yeah, sure. Cutter, Gauthier, Gobert, along with Mason McTavish and a bunch of other guys. But I just don't know who Anaheim is yet. And
I don't know if Anaheim knows who Anaheim is
You may
yet,
be right.
so.
You may be right. And that's a team that if you're the Colorado Avalanche, you're looking at and saying, we should be able to come in and show them who we are, right? So,
Yeah.
tired legs or not, you would like a little bit of control from the Avalanche front on that. We kind of already mentioned it, but it starts with Wedgwood tonight. Like, sorry, buddy, you have a tough task. You've got tired legs in front of you. The ask is on you to keep the Avs hopefully with a lead if they can get one early, or if not, in the game as long as they need you to.
Yeah, and Wedgwood has proven that he can be that guy.
Yep.
Multiple times this season. This is not a Wedgwood you need to make the impossible happen kind of task.
Yep.
Which makes me feel a little better about this. Now, yeah, given some of the legs in front of him, am I still going to be on the edge of my seat? Absolutely. But it's something that Wedgwood's not unfamiliar with.
Yep. You have some faith there, too. The only really times Wedgwood has struggled this year is when it feels like the workload has really built up for him. Mm-hmm. He has played one game since the Olympic break, so he should be rested and good to go.
Yeah, no. Rest for the remainder of the season should not be a problem for Wedgwood. And at that point, you really get to see what kind of goaltender he is. Because there's something to be said about pressure and how much that plays a factor. And
it matters.
When you're not touted, when you're not battling for that starting position anymore, how much of that kind of falls off a little bit. And you kind of see maybe a goaltender's true colors in a way. And then you get that rest versus rust situation
a lot of factors there. For what it's worth, I don't think Wedgwood's a pretty even keel guy. You would not expect
him to I have all the respect in the
Yeah.
world for him too. So he's a fantastic goaltender. I just do think, again, taking some of that pressure off a goaltender's shoulders. He's had the most starts he's had in a season this season. So he's had a giant workload already. So if anybody deserves a little bit of a break, maybe it's that guy.
Honestly. Hopefully the Avs can give him a break by not taking too many penalties in this game. They obviously only took the one that gave up a power play last night, which good. Mm-hmm. One of the corrections we wanted to see was more discipline from the Avs. Can they continue to manage that discipline knowing they're going to have tired legs? Can they avoid the I'm gassed penalty in this game?
I don't have a lot of faith there, if I'm going to be completely honest. If this is a game where you're looking at staying out of the box, you're maybe looking at the wrong game. And that's
fair.
Unfortunately, just kind of the reality of where my mind is at. You're tired. Especially those defensive zone penalties are kind of where my eye is going to be at, too. With the way that I see this game going, if they can do their job in the offensive zone, that defensive zone is really where they're going to struggle in that regard, I think.
So it becomes that much more important that the power play has to be a strong part of your special teams conversation. And
they did it.
Show number 212 in a row that we have to talk about this. They did technically score a power play goal yesterday. I'm not asking it to be unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I'm just asking it to find a way to help you.
If you can get one.
Yeah, right.
Statistically, you only get one man advantage opportunity last game. Mm-hmm. Have to think there's going to be more opportunities this one. And with that, there has to be some sort of conversion, or at least some sort of compete.
Yep.
I'm almost to the point now where some of them have looked good. I want a consistently good-looking power play.
Yeah.
Let it not fall apart in the middle of the game. Let them not
Can't have one good one and check out.
Right, yeah. So, and if they can do that, realistically, that should be the piece to getting something on the board, making some sort of conversion happen. I have to think there's some sort of momentum from last game. It's not your average power play goal, but it's a power play goal. It's something on the board for you guys. Do something with that.
Well, and again, this doesn't have to be a complicated process, right? We talk about getting to the right areas. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's easy. The guys that go to the net front get the crap beat out of them every single game. It's hard work, but it's not complicated mentally to say this is where I need to go to find success. Mm-hmm. And especially when you're missing someone like Arturi Lehkonen, this goes beyond just special teams, but at 5-on-5, who's going to be the guy that steps up and says, you know what, I'm going to take the hit, I'm going to get in front of the goalie and take those eyes away, or I'm going to be there for the rebound? Is there someone you think that falls on directly?
Gabe Landeskog, maybe.
Sure.
Is probably where my brain heads to first. But I also think I kind of look at the depth a little bit more here too, and I'm looking for a guy like Jason Pullen who hasn't played in an Avs sweater since November.
Yeah.
Who's known for things like that, for performing in high traffic areas. If you can get some of that out of your depth and allow guys like Jack Drury and guys like Jason Pullen and some of those guys to be that grit in front of the net too, that absence of Arturi Lehkonen feels that much lighter.
Bailey, I know this isn't how the world works, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Oh, no.
Are the Avs due for a few good breaks?
Yeah. That's the easy answer. The world does not work that way, though. Yeah, they're due for a couple good ones. And if that can come tonight, like, I'm even more happy with this game. Like, I have zero expectations for a good performance in this game. And if that can happen, my world is made. We're good.
That's true in the Toyota chat. It is a full moon, so cast your spells now.
Blood moon was this morning, too, so...
Get your spell casts in about the Avs power play while you can. It does just feel like the Avs have been in a stretch where you're seeing bad calls go against them. You're seeing bounces go against them. And, you know, maybe you can say, hey, that's a balance. Early in the year, they were getting a ton of good bounces and this, that, and the other thing. But it also feels like the pendulum has swung to a point where it's got to come back the Avs' way a little bit at some point.
Yeah, the cards are not in their favor.
Yeah.
Especially in the last couple months. And again, looking at it statistically, I know this is not the way the world works, but I'm just kind of at a loss, I guess, there. Like, it just seems like it's happening a little too much, especially with last game.
Just get me back to neutral. Yeah, right. Last game, you have actively a goal taken away from the Avs that is, everyone knows was the wrong call. Just blatantly. And then you combine that with the Avs' injury luck going south a little bit again with Kivy and now Leckie. The Cale Makar penalty a few games ago that's just straight made up.
We also, I think, had the conversation about sustainability of what the Avs were doing through the first 40 games, too. Maybe this is just a lot of that catching up with them.
Sure.
And
can they spread
I don't
it
want
out
that
a
to be
little
the
bit?
answer.
Can
Like,
you
that'd
spread it out?
They're going into an all or nothing mentality, it feels like. And I'm like, no. Like, that's kind of where I'm at.
I just, look, again, it doesn't work this way, but if they're going to get all the bad luck out in March, it's fine.
Yeah. Get it ready for April. No more bad luck then. None.
Bailey, let's cast our spells and look into the future here with the crystal ball. Give me a score. Give me a name. What is going to happen in this game?
I don't know why. My spidey senses are tingling a little bit. I'm going 5-2.
Okay.
For this one. And you know who deserves all of the goal luck today? Is Gabriel Landeskog.
I'm down.
Gabriel Landeskog deserves to shut up the haters.
4 or 5 more goals.
Yes.
And then, I'm not even going to talk about underperformance.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
No, give him one of the goals for tonight. You know, I'll even go a step further. You know, 5-2 is not a huge differential, but give him the game winner.
Yes, please. I will take that.
So
my gut doesn't feel very good about this game.
Okay.
But, you know, my gut felt like the Avs were going to bop Chicago, and that didn't happen. So clearly my gut is untrustworthy. So I will ignore my gut.
Okay.
And I will say that the Avs win 6-1.
Whoa.
Dostal about to put a stinker up against the Avs.
Wow. So they figure him out early.
Yeah. Immediate score. Avs are up like 3-4 goals after the first.
Oh, my gosh.
Make life easy. And I'm just going to go down that list. Bardakov, Nichushkin, Drury, and Malinsky are all going to score.
Okay. Wow. This feels like, we put all the names into a bowl and picked them out kind of score
the
prediction.
right of get rightiest games.
Right. I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
That's definitely not going to happen, but, you know, we're manifesting.
We're having fun.
Yeah.
We're forecasting our spells today. This one can count, okay?
I don't know. I'm trying to have fun with that one because I suspect this game is going to turn into a slog at some point for the Avalanche, most likely.
Yeah.
They're going to have to battle through it. We'll see if they can. If you end up 4-1 through this 5-game stretch, I mean, that's yeoman's work from Colorado, right? So hopefully they get there. If they don't, you know where to find us on the post game, where we'll break it all down for you. We also have a watch along coming your way in a couple of minutes. We're going to wrap up this pregame show. Thank you for watching. This has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show from the Toyota Lounge.
We all silly like the mayor.